What is happening, everybody? Today I have a dual video. It is a review and a comparison between two different products that are very, very different, but both quite good. And I'm going to frame this with a bit of a discussion because as a bike reviewer, I often will change out parts that I like and I'm happy with because someone has sent me something different to test. And it's not always something that I would have necessarily chosen. I have an open door policy for people to send me gear to review. No paid reviews, fully independent. Whatever people send, I will mostly just make content about. And that does lead to some interesting things arriving. A great example of that is that recently I swapped out the Curve Walmers, a bar that I liked and was quite happy with, for a set of Zipp Service Course 70 XPLR gravel handlebars in 42 centimeter width. So overnight I went from a 55 centimeter wide bar from a 42. And that was very interesting. So let's jump in with a review of the bars and a discussion of how different it is going from super size to super skinny. The Zipp Service Course 70 XPLRs are simple beasts. They're aluminium gravel handlebars with an 11-degree flare and they put the shifters on a 10-degree angle. The flats are slightly flattened compared to round bars, and I tested them in 42 centimeters. They also come in 44 and 46. Oh, and they're silver, and I think that looks really cool on my Grove. Ergonomically, these don't stray too far from road handlebars. They've put in fairly modest angles and quite a shallow drop, which I like. So while they're not wild, the hand positions are quite well thought out. And they definitely put you in more of a roadie style position, which is quite refreshing. I still love that long and low feeling of being on a road bike. So this was a nice follow-up to the ultra-wide Curve Walmers. And the subtle shaping of the drops made it a position that I wanted to be in quite a lot. As I said, the bars are subtle, but the ergonomics are very well thought out. These bars will set you back around $55 US or 90 Australian dollars, which is a jam-packed market segment. And the truth is, I'm yet to test a gravel bar at that price bracket that I didn't like. There's multiple really good options. The Pro Discover Medium Flare is a good cheap bar that I've been very happy with. The Ritchie Ergomax Comp was another good cheap bar that I've also been very happy with. The Zips do sit with those two, but with a couple of things that make them a little bit preferable to me. The bend on the Zips is shallower, which is preferable to me over the bend in the Pros, which is a bit more of a sort of traditional bend, I guess you could say. And the raised tops on the Ritchies are ergonomically very nice, but they get kind of annoying when you need to mount multiple things or you want to use a bar bag. They all cost roughly the same though, and I wouldn't have a problem using any of them. There's just so many great options at this price point. Now you may have noticed that I also got a very handsome silver Service Course stem with the handlebars, and they looked absolutely great together. But there was one problem. It's too stiff. I've owned Service Course stems before, and they're great for road bikes because they're so stiff. They're just a freaking girder that attaches your bar to your bike. But for gravel, all that stiffness isn't really necessary. I actually like a softer stem for my gravel bike. Anything that helps sort of smooth out the roads and absorb just a little bit of vibration is always going to be preferable to me. So these look great with the bar and they match up nicely, but I probably wouldn't put them on another gravel handlebar. So let's circle back to discuss how 42s compare to 55s. It's all about the build context. What do you want your gravel bike to be? Swapping between such wildly different bars and stems made the same frame feel totally different, and it's just a matter of choosing how you want it to end up. As you can imagine, the longer stem and narrow handlebars made the Grove feel closer to a road bike for better and for worse. It's a great position for when you want to go quickly and smash along at a decent clip, but it does make the handling feel a little bit dopey when you need to be precise or when you're on technical terrain. The Walmers let me thread through sort of tight corners nice and accurately, but the Zips do feel a little bit twitchy and a little bit dopey. And going downhill, you have a much stronger body position with the Walmers because your hands are so much wider. The Zips are okay, but narrow isn't as good when you need to make quick and sort of precise steering choices. Finally, bags are quite annoying with the Zipp handlebars. Even something that's quite narrow, like the Apogura Race Series bar, it still gets in the way and you have to sort of jam your fingers between the bar and the bag, which is, not great, really. The same bag on the Walmers, you don't even really notice it. The Curve bars are literally designed for bike packing and can accommodate a very large bag without ruining all your hand positions. So I take those bike packing, obviously, but the Zips, probably not. I love that spec and gravel gear is about doing whatever feels best for you. And that's very much the case with gravel handlebars. There's a world of choice, and it's just about finding what suits the style of riding you want to do. I like the narrow setup of the Zipp. I like the super wide setup of the curved Walmers. Neither setup is good everywhere, but both are very strong in their own way. Returning to the Zipps, they're a bar that I came to quite like more than I was expecting. The ergonomics are really nice for people who don't want to stray too far from a sort of road style handlebar, but do want a bit of a flare and a bit of an angle on their hoods. And the price is very reasonable as well. They enter a market segment where there's not really any bad options, and I'm yet to test something that I didn't like. It's more about just finding those subtle differences that sets the bars apart. And hey, these come in silver and they look kind of awesome. So maybe that's enough for you. It's all about what you want from your gravel bike. And that is where I'm gonna leave it. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, what is your preferred gravel bar width? Because it's kind of the Wild West at the moment, and it's always interesting to hear people's perspectives on this, so drop a comment below. Thank you for watching as always. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that stuff really helps me out. Ride safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next time.